Welcome to Spiritual Calisthenics. Christ is in our midst. Today, on Monday, August 21st, we commemorate the Holy Apostle St. Thaddaeus, as well as the Holy Martyr Bassa and her sons, Theognis, Agapius, and Pistus, St. Athanasios Patelaros, Patriarch of Constantinople, and the Afterfeast of Dormition of the Holy Lady, the Theotokos, and Ever Virgin Mary. Regarding St. Thaddaeus, the Apostle Thaddaeus was from Edessa, a Jew by race. When he came to Jerusalem, he became a disciple of Christ, and after his ascension he returned to Edessa. There he catechized and baptized Abgar. We commemorated the miracle of the image made without hands on August 16th. Having preached in Mesopotamia, he ended his life in martyrdom. Though some call him one of the 12, whom Matthew calls Levius, whose surname was Thaddaeus, Eusebius says that he is one of the 70. After Christ's resurrection from the dead and his ascent into heaven, Thomas, one of the 12 apostles, inspired by God, sent Thaddaeus, one of the 70 disciples of Christ, to Edessa as a preacher and evangelist of Christ's teaching. O Holy Apostle Thaddaeus, intercede to our most merciful God, that he may grant our souls forgiveness of sins. The Apostles' joyous feast is come with radiant splendor. Let us keep it on this day with jubilation and gladness. For to them who ever honor him in sincere faith, it doth grant their sins forgiveness and true divine health. For he hath great boldness as a divine initiate of Christ's omnipotent grace. Regarding Saint Bassa, the martyr of Edessa, and her sons Theognis, Agapius, and Pistus. The martyrs were from Edessa in Macedonia. Bassa was the wife of a certain Valerian, a priest of the idols, to whom she bore 3 sons and raised them in piety. She was betrayed with her sons to the proconsul by her own husband. Each of her sons was tormented before her and beheaded. For refusing to worship the idols, she was imprisoned, cast into water and then fire, was stoned, and remaining unharmed, was brought to the temple to worship the idols. Laying hold upon the idol of Zeus, she overturned it and broke it to pieces. After being preserved through further torments, she was beheaded about the year 290 in the reign of Maximian. Your martyrs, O Lord, in their courageous contest for you, received as the prize the crowns of incorruption and life from you, our immortal God. For since they possessed your strength, they cast down the tyrants, and wholly destroyed the demon's strengthless presumption. Christ God, by their prayers, save our souls, since you art merciful. Valiantly following the footsteps of Salome, thou gavest courage to thy sons to suffer martyrdom. O divinely blessed Bassa, thou rock of courage, and when thou hadst thrice endured thy 3 sons' sufferings, thou through many grievous torments was joined unto them. Hence we cry to you, rejoice, O victors in martyrdom. From St. Paul's second letter to the Corinthians. Brethren, we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each one may receive good or evil, according to what he has done in the body. This is something that I find interesting because when we do comparisons, parents send their children to basketball camp, football camp, and they've done studies that shows that there's, 1 in a 2 million chance that your child will ever play professionally for their sport of choice. Like maybe 1 in 1,000 chance that your child's going to receive a scholarship for their point or for their sport of choice. But there's a 1-to-1 chance your child is going to stand before the throne of God. And so, priority list, it would make sense to prepare your child more to stand before the throne of God than for a team that is not going to be with them past their childhood. Therefore, knowing the fear of the Lord, we persuade men, but what we are is known to God, and I hope it is known also to your conscience. We are not commending ourselves to you again, but giving you cause to be proud of us, so that you may be able to answer those who pride themselves on a man's position and not on his heart. For if we are beside ourselves, it is for God. If we are in our right mind, it is for you. For the love of Christ controls us, because we are convinced that one has died for all. Therefore all have died. And he died for all, that those who live might live no longer for themselves, but for him who for their sake died and was raised, meaning that Christ dying as himself caused all of us to die with him, that we all might be raised with him in his glory and his resurrection. The Gospel is according to the feast of St. Thaddaeus. The Gospel according to St. Mark. At that time Jesus went up on the mountain and called to him those whom he desired, and they came to him, and he appointed 12 to be with him, and to be sent out to preach and have authority to cast out demons. Simon whom he surnamed Peter, James the son of Zebedee, and John the brother of James, whom he surnamed Boanerges, that is, son of thunder, Andrew and Philip and Bartholomew, Matthew and Thomas, and James the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddaeus, and Simon the Cananaean, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. Then he went home, and the crowds came together again, so that they could not even eat. And when his family heard it, they went out to seize him, for people were saying, "He is beside himself." I hope that you've enjoyed today's spiritual calisthenics. Have a blessed and wonderful day.